Welch is here with us now with their plan.
Yeah, obviously this has been a big concern down at the legislature. You got to remember this goes all the way back to 2000 when voters approved a 0.6% sales tax increase, that money going toward education. Now that money is set to expire in 2020, and when it does, schools could lose hundreds of millions of dollars a year unless lawmakers can now muster up the political will to save it.
We're running out of time.
State Senator Kate Brophy-McGee is one of two lawmakers now rushing to extend Proposition 301 for an additional 8 years. Without that extension, K-12 schools would fall off what is known as the fiscal cliff, meaning they would lose $600 million every year.
All this says is, let's continue it, let's eliminate the cliff, and let's start having those conversations so that we don't push these schools up against the wall.
Right now, her legislative proposal does have broad bipartisan support, but there are still some concerns. Children's advocate Dana Wolf-Neymark says the state needs a comprehensive plan to boost K-12 funding and address the current teaching shortage.
With 2,000 teacher positions vacant, not having permanent full-time teachers in the classroom, we can't go on like this. So we need a responsible plan, not only to continue the status quo, which is what this Prop 301 is, but also to reinvest in our public schools.
And this proposal will face its first test next week when it will be heard in a legislative committee.
And Dennis, it's 2018, it's an election year. What's the chance of this kicking it down the road for an off year?
Well, it looks like it's going to all come down to the governor, who has said some positive things about extending Proposition 301. If you look at this bill, it's got about 50 co-sponsors, Democrats and Republicans coming together, as the public has really been putting a lot of pressure, not only this year, but the past several years, to do something more about education. And I think when you start talking about that teaching crisis, which was mentioned in that package, I think that puts a fine point on the issues now facing Arizona schools.
Yeah, it's not like our schools can afford to lose any money. They need more. All right.
And this is a lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dennis.